Greetings, Dr. Mark Winton here from the University of Central Florida Department of Criminal Justice. And what I'd like to do in this video is talk about a very timely issue, and that is terrorism and COVID-19. And I'm going to rely on the article by Ackerman and Peterson published in 2020. So, with that said, Ackerman and Peterson point out that we are in basically uncharted territory. This is really new to us in a variety of fields, including criminal justice, but also in the medical field, in psychology and sociology. And we've recently been conducting all kinds of research, and those results are starting to emerge. And what I want to focus on are the 10 potential impacts that they discuss related to terrorism and COVID-19. So let me get right into that. Number one, terrorists may be carrying out more pro-social behaviors during the pandemic. For example, we may see terrorist groups start providing some needed services in communities, such as providing food or medical care and other supplies that are needed. And this, of course, can have an effect of helping to recruit and for the terrorist group to be looked upon somewhat more favorably by some community members. Second, an increased risk of radicalization. So we have international anxiety levels that have increased. We have a lot more people that are spending time alone and also online. And within this, we can see a greater potential from terrorist groups to start recruiting those lonely, online, anxious individuals. Number three, an increased risk of anti-government attitudes, that we have seen a lot of blame as well as conspiracy theories thrown around related to COVID-19. Just on my Facebook feed, I probably see a half dozen conspiracies every day, and they can range in from all kinds of false beliefs regarding government, regarding COVID-19 itself, the interventions, and so you see that clearly materializing and changing. Number four, the apocalyptic extremists could expand, that some may view this as an indicator of particular end of times belief systems, and that could also be utilized by terrorists as well who have that particular set of beliefs. Number five, working from home, that here we see people that are involved in terrorism may be using the online environment for increased planning as well as coordinating a variety of attacks. And the other issue, of course, that we have seen is the cybercrime increases, and so more people at home, more people working online. We see cybercrime not only among terrorists but non-terroristic criminals. That probably all of us get 4 or 5 emails that that something has occurred, we need to provide money, or that that there's a bank account in our name somewhere, and so on and so forth. They're old, but they continue on. Phone calls as well, texts, things of that nature. Our local police department has been very proactive in letting people know in the community about these fraudulent schemes. And they may or may not be related to terrorism, but certainly cybercrime and victimization. And number 6, that bioterrorism we might see as health systems have been exposed, that people now terrorists begin to see how the healthcare system works or doesn't work, and how it can be disrupted. Number 7, we kind of asked the question, would it be possible to weaponize COVID-19? Certainly something to look into in much greater detail. And number 8, there may be attacks on specific facilities. As I mentioned before, healthcare and the medical system may be at greater risk in that area. And number 9, there may be facilities that are less secure due to COVID-19, and this could include symbolic targets. Also, that terrorists may try to obtain bioterroristic or biochemical and other types of weapons through breaking into facilities that may have less surveillance and guardianship due to COVID-19. And in some areas, we may see attempts to break people out of jail to free prisoners. We've seen a few cases of that, not in the United States, but in other countries. And then number 10, counterterrorism professionals may be distracted during this particular time frame, and certainly work patterns have been disrupted. And in addition, resources may be taxed due to these professionals having to branch out into other areas as well. So a lot of these disruptions and changes, and we see, again, I would recommend to look at the big picture, how they're all interrelated in this scenario. And basically, that Ackerman and Peterson recommend looking at the time frames in terms short-term, medium-term, and long-term, and also how this relates to structural changes in societies and how the interrelationship between COVID-19 and all the associated changes we see with that and the risk of terrorist attacks materializes or could occur. So this has definitely added a new dimension for us to study and address. Thank you.